$16 trillion in pension shortfalls. This is absolutely disastrous. This just came across on Bloomberg. This is going to kill the U.S. economy. It's going to destroy retirees' dreams. It's going to affect not only the U.S., but the entire global economy. I want to talk about it, and I'm going to break it down as to what it means and how it affects you, how it affects all of us. Welcome back. My name's Ethan. I talk a lot about finance, investing, wealth on my channel and my videos. And today I'm talking about an article I saw on Bloomberg where they talk about us reaching, as a global economy worldwide, about $16 trillion in shortfall when it comes to paying pensions. These are public pensions because in Europe and elsewhere they consider it a pension, whereas in the U.S. we consider it Social Security. But $16 trillion in a pension shortfall is going to absolutely destroy retirement dreams for so many people. And this article and many others that I've read in the past just tell me how bad the problem is. If you look at the news, you search the news for pension crisis, you will see, some of the things I'm talking about. We've got, pensions anywhere from, private corporations to state and local governments having shortfalls for multiple different reasons. And I'll talk about why there's a shortfall. But the shortfalls, when they hit, have a devastating impact on people who are currently retired and people who are about to retire. In some of the articles I've read, retirees are expected to take up to like half 50% of a cut in their retirement pension. Can you imagine that, going into retirement expecting, $3,000 or $4,000 a month in pension, and then being told, hey, it's going to get cut in half? That would destroy your retirement dreams. You might not even be able to survive, with your basic living expenses. You might not be able to afford your mortgage if you still have one. It will severely cut into your dreams and your life. And it is such a crime, in my opinion, that we have this problem in the U.S. at the federal level, at the state and local level, and in the corporate world as well. The fact that we have this pension crisis and that nobody saw it coming, nobody took action, is absolutely crazy. And it's such a bad thing for everybody who is counting on a retirement income that basically somebody else has promised them. And this is one of the reasons that I do not trust that Social Security or anything else will be there for me. Now, I might get a check, I know, for Social Security in the future. I don't know what it's going to be, the amount of it. I don't know what it's going to be worth. I don't trust anybody else with my financial future, with my family's financial future. And that's why I want to help people increase their financial education so they understand how to invest, how to protect themselves, because the U.S. economy has so many problems, and globally we have so many problems that, not only do I think this is going to cause immense problems for us the next time we hit a recession that could actually take us into a depression or a major financial crisis of some kind. We have so much debt on our hands. We have so much money in the money system. We've been printing money like there's no tomorrow. We've got shortfalls in the Social Security system, in public and private pensions, that for anybody to trust that a corporation or a state or local government or the federal government is going to be there to protect them, to provide for their retirement, is absolutely insane. And I'll go over a couple things why I think this happened. Why we got to where we are. There are three main things that I think have caused this. One is, politicians and the people running these pensions made promises they knew they couldn't keep. So we, as individuals, as taxpayers, as employees, we all expect certain things. We all want certain things. We ask, our employers, our governments of certain things, right? And the people in charge of the government, the politicians, the lawmakers, the regulators, the people running corporations, the people running state and local governments, the policymakers, people in charge of the pensions, they want to give us good news. They want us to tell us what we want to hear. And sometimes they have to fudge the numbers. They have to make things up a little bit. That I'll just state it that way. That's a real nice way of saying it. Basically, a lot of what they've done, in my opinion, has been a lie, what they've told us. So they've overpromised, and now they're in a position where they've underdelivered. They've also been extremely unrealistic. So a lot of these times, when I look at these articles, what the pension funds have been saying, historically, like they've said that they should be able to get every single year 7 or 8% or even more return on the funds that have been invested in that pension fund. And realistically, it would be great if all of us could get a consistent return of 7, 8, 9, 10%, whatever it is that we just put out there in thin air. But it doesn't always happen that way. And when the economy slows or when we hit a recession, you do not get those kind of returns on your investments in your portfolio, no matter what you've invested in. And for the pensions to believe that things would always be good, they'd always be able to get high returns is absolutely insane. The fact that they've done that, this is why I don't trust other people with my money or my financial future, because people want to say what you want to hear, and it's not true most of the time. And that's why I don't trust a lot of people who try to sell investment products. I've learned investing on my own through a lot of really knowledgeable people who have succeeded far more than I have. Excuse me. And I think it's in all of our best interest to learn as much as we possibly can, because at the end of the day, we have nobody to rely on but ourselves. And do you want to put your financial future, your family's financial future, in somebody else's hands? Do you trust them? Do you really trust them to be there for you when you are 65, when you are 70, when you are 80 years old? Not me, man. I do not trust anybody else. I trust myself, because I know that I will either figure it out or come out. I'll figure out a way to protect myself or generate additional income or whatever it is I need. I'm working as hard as I can right now to make sure I am never in a position where I am basically, my dreams are basically crushed and myself or my family is in a bad financial situation when we get to retirement age. It is such a crime. The other thing that has hurt pensions, public and private pensions, is that the people in charge of these pensions, they like to raid these pension funds. They take the money out of them in good times and good economic times, and they spend it on other stuff that they shouldn't be. The pension funds, the Social Security funds that are out there, were set up with the purpose of protecting the funds that were meant to be paid out to people. When people steal from those funds, that's what they're doing. They're stealing money from those funds. They want to go spend the money on something else, whatever that is. It doesn't even matter. They're taking the money out of what should be a protected account for the benefit of the retirees, the people who are supposed to get the benefits, and they're spending it elsewhere on other things that they shouldn't be. They're essentially raiding or stealing from the pension funds. And this is an absolute disaster. This is what happens when you put other people in charge of your money. The fox is going to kill the hens in the hen house. If they're in charge of the door, they're going to let themselves in and take what they want whenever they want. This is why I don't trust other people with my money, my financial security, my family's financial security. I look to others to learn from them, and I ultimately have to make the best decision for myself and my family. And that's what I would suggest for each and every one of you to do, is to learn for yourself the best way to protect yourself. I want to help with that. There are a lot of other people out there on YouTube, that are helping. There are a lot of people that have written books. They got podcasts. Listen, learn. There are a lot of really super knowledgeable people out there that can help you. In my opinion, never trust the promises of anybody, a corporation, the federal government, state, local government. Do not trust them, because plans can change. The tax structure can change. I mean, you might get your full pension, but it might be taxed at twice the rate it is, and that can have a devastating impact on you. So I don't trust the politicians. I don't trust future tax rates. I don't trust returns, because ultimately returns can't be promised. Returns are basically only known after the fact, after you've already gotten through a full year. Then you know what the return is for that previous year that you just came out of. You can't promise future returns, because the future is unknown for everybody. This is a huge problem, not only in the US, but elsewhere. China is having a huge problem too. I mean, it's like China has a ton of people. This is going to hit them. And I got to tell you, even though it's China and it's a separate country, what happens to China will affect the US and the global economy. We're all connected. You know, when something happens to a major country, we're going to feel it, and we're going to feel it at our individual level with the price of imports, all the stuff that we import from China and elsewhere. With the people, China buys a ton of our debt. So if China has problems with their own debt, what if they don't have money to buy our debt? Then, we're in deep trouble. We've been spending more than what we have coming in, and that's not a good position to be in. You basically become a debt slave if you are spending more than what you're bringing in. You're getting into credit card debt. You know what that feels like. If you've been there, if you are there right now, you are a slave to somebody else. You're paying interest, and it's a deep, dark place you want to get out of. Well, if the U.S. is in debt to other countries, we are essentially, our entire nation, we are enslaved to whoever's buying that debt. We are enslaved to China. We are enslaved to Russia. Whoever's buying our debt, we are enslaved to them. We want to get out of debt, in my opinion, as fast as possible, or find a way to nullify our debt without destroying our economy. Because we could just print money. We could print money, pay off our debts, but we would destroy our currency, destroy our economy in the process. So we can't do that. Anyway, that's getting a little off tangent, but it's like there are a lot of things that at a macroeconomic level are connected, and a lot of people don't understand that, and that's why often you will cross, knowledge areas, boundaries when I talk about pensions and moving into fiat currency and the economy and debt, because they are all connected. They all affect each other. The interest rates that the Federal Reserve sets affects our debt levels. It affects the interest on our debt, affects our ability to pay debt, and it affects the stock market. Our ability to print money affects the price of assets, and those assets, the investments, the stock market, affect the value of pensions and the value of retirement funds, and that affects people's living, their way of life, their lifestyle in retirement. I've watched some videos on YouTube, and they're super depressing. I watch them to provide myself with motivation to save my ass off. When it comes to my money, whatever I've left at the end of each month, I stick that stuff into investments, into the best investments that I think is possible, because I do not want to run out of money in retirement. No way. I don't want to run out when I'm 70 or when I'm 90. Hope I make it to 90 and well beyond that. But ultimately, to be able to do that, I do not want to trust anybody else. I have to do my work. I have to put my time in. I have to put my money in. Excuse me. I've got to do that. And I think each and every one of us has to do that. That's up to us. That's our responsibility. I think abdicating our personal responsibility and say, well, we're going to rely on the government to do that is a bad move, because when you rely on other people, you can end up getting screwed at the end. And the pension crisis is one of those things. It's a great example of how people are getting screwed. I can't imagine being currently in retirement and having somebody tell me that my pension got cut by 25% or 50%, where my spouse and I are now having to live a totally different life than what we thought. That would destroy our dreams. You know, if we worked for so many years to acquire the wealth, the assets that we have, and we think we're going to have a certain level of retirement, and that doesn't happen, that destroys your dreams. You've been working your entire life for that. Which is why I also help people with trying to achieve financial freedom. Excuse me. I got a scratchy throat today. I want to help people achieve financial freedom. Because when you're not financially free, you are basically a slave to a system that requires that you constantly work in order to pay the bills, in order to make money. You are trading your life every single day. When you put hours in at your job, you're trading your life away for money. And that is not financial freedom. And I'm trying to help people get to a place where they are financially free, where they are smarter, wiser at investing, and they know how to look at money as being a good thing. I look at everything that we have in our society, all the things we have to be thankful for, all the good things that we have going on in this world. We have a lot of good things. And I'm thankful for all of them. But we also have a lot of issues. I'm not one of those people that just kind of likes to look at only the positive things in life. I like to look at the things that need to be improved. And this is one of those things that need to be improved because it affects so many people in a negative way. And I want to help people realize what's happening. So if they're not in retirement, they can prepare. And if you are not in retirement right now, I want to help you prepare for that, for retirement, so you are secure on your own, that you aren't required, you don't require the government or some corporation to provide for you in retirement. If they are able to pay you money, that's a great bonus. But I certainly don't want to rely on somebody else for my financial security. I want to rely primarily on myself. And anything I get from the government or anywhere else, that's going to be a bonus to me. I'm not going to count on it being there. I know that if I want to have a good retirement, I have to trust myself. This is why I've done a video where I talk about diversification and why I diversify the way I do, because honestly, I don't trust any one person, any one company, any one strategy, any one asset. It's just the way I think. And it's the way I'm comfortable with looking at life, that I never know 100%, what's going to happen. Nobody does. And that's why I always second guess myself. I always check in with other people and what do other people think, and I try to weigh options. You should always do that. Never trust me or anybody else 100%. Put a little bit of trust into different people that you learn from, that you resonate with, but never trust anybody 100%. It's so dangerous to do that. Trusting in the government or a company that you work for your retirement is so dangerous, because your dreams can fall apart. And this is one example: $16 trillion global pension crisis. And by 2050, it's going to be even more exacerbated. It's just it's absolutely crazy. This is on a global scale. It's going to affect everybody around the world in the major economies, the major countries. And even, this is really talking about, federal or government type pensions, but there's a ton of problems too in private pensions. If you look in the news, you'll see pension cuts for musicians, for truck drivers, for people who work at UPS, for a whole bunch of private corporations, state and local governments, where there's a pension crisis. I mean, you look at Chicago, you look at, I think it was Arizona, Philadelphia, different places that have their own crises that are going on, that are going to negatively affect people who have worked their entire life in a corporation, for an organization, for a state, city, local government. Entirely devastating. So never rely on somebody else to provide for your future. That's the best thing I can tell you walking away from this. Always take responsibility for your own life. Always prepare for your own future, and always take responsibility for things, because at the end of the day, nobody's going to be there for you like you will be. So you need to take care of you. You need to take care of your family the best you possibly can. Anyway, I know that's not the most uplifting video I've done, but it is important. And the message from this, I think, is to always rely on yourself. Don't trust in anybody else to do things for you, to provide for you. You got to do it yourself. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. I've got other videos that I produced and other videos I'm coming out with that teach you more about investing, wealth, finance, financial freedom, because I want to help you get there. I know that I don't know everything. I've learned a lot over the past 15, 20 years, but there's a lot I don't know. Investing, finance is so complex, but I'm constantly learning, and I'm constantly trying to pass along the things that I've learned over time and the new things that I'm learning to you guys, so you can increase your own financial prosperity. So that's what I wish for all of you. The greatest prosperity, the greatest success in whatever it is you're trying to achieve in life. Financial is a huge one that I want to help you with, because everybody needs money. But thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate it, especially if you made it to the end. I really appreciate it. I know you've got a lot of things to do. I know the time is precious, so thank you so much. And I wish you all the best of luck in everything you're trying to do. And until I see you guys next time, good luck, God bless, Godspeed. Take care.